A bonus raise for Social Security beneficiaries, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, and VA beneficiaries. Let's get into it as this is becoming very interesting. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so I can keep you updated each and every day with all of this information that is changing very rapidly. I get it, it's very confusing out there right now, and it's hard to determine what is actually happening as things continue to change so incredibly fast. But don't worry, I'm doing all the research on your behalf, and I take all of that information, boil it all down into these short videos to help you out in any way that I can, as well as make sure that you're staying tuned with everything going on. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video, and let's get into this right away. Alright, so if you happen to catch my videos from yesterday, the latest inflation numbers were released yesterday morning. Now, it came in at 6.8% year over year. This is the highest inflation number that we've seen since 1982. Almost 40 years ago was the last time we saw inflation this hot. On a month-over-month basis, it came in at 0.8%. So in other words, 0.8% month over month. That's massive. So as a result of this, we're seeing some speculation out there right now as to what Congress could potentially be implementing for fixed income beneficiaries, including the list that I mentioned at the beginning of the video: Social Security retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, and VA. Now, what are we talking about? Here's the thing. This is very interesting, actually. And we actually saw something like this last year as well. I'll bring that up here in just a second to give you more reference points to actually lean back on, because this is really weird and kind of interesting at the same time. Now, as we know, going into 2022, the new cost of living adjustment will be 5.9%, which also happens to be the biggest COLA raise that we've seen in many, many years. So, as a result of this, many people, as a result of this new inflation number, are actually looking at the COLA raise and saying, this simply isn't enough, and speculating that Congress could potentially be implementing an even higher COLA raise to adjust for this massive inflation that's going on right now. Now, some reports that I've seen are estimating potentially even a bump up to the COLA to 6.8% and possibly even higher than that. So, this is very interesting to continue watching this. Now, let me give you a reference point. This exact situation happened last year. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, I brought you that information right as it was happening. So remember, last year in mid-October, the Social Security Administration came out with their announcement for the annual cost of living adjustment. Now, this is back in 2020, in reference to 2021. Well, they announced a 1.3% cost of living adjustment. Well, all of us at the time were thinking, are you kidding me? Seriously? 1.3% for 2021? Well, shortly thereafter, a couple lawmakers came out with a proposal for Social Security to implement a 3% cost of living adjustment. Do you remember this? We talked about it about a little over a year ago. I believe it was in probably late October or maybe even early November of 2020 when this new proposal was introduced by those lawmakers, calling on Social Security to implement a 3% cost of living to help out all of these millions of beneficiaries with the rising prices due to inflation at that time. Could you imagine if they tried to implement a 3% cost of living adjustment now? All of us would laugh right in their face. You know what I mean? 3% is small potatoes, as my wife would say. Yeah, 3% is not going to cut it anymore. However, we're seeing a potentially similar situation playing out this year as well, where there's potential speculation that these lawmakers may be coming out with a proposal calling on Congress to actually calling on the Social Security Administration to implement an even higher cost of living adjustment for 2022 to adjust for the massive inflation that we're starting to see. Well, let me take that back. Starting to see? No, correction. That we've been seeing for many, many months now. So this is actually pretty interesting, and we'll need to continue watching this very closely. Now, let me give you some other reference points to kind of look at here too as well. So the COLA, remember, the COLA that they have adjusted for going into 2022 is a function of taking the inflation numbers, the CPI-W numbers from the months of July, August, and September of 2021. Now, these are the inflation numbers from the third quarter of 2021. They take those inflation numbers, they run them through a calculation, and that determines what the COLA will be for the following year. Well, I think all of us know that inflation during the summer months was not nearly as high as it is in the last few months that we've been experiencing here, right? So October, November, and already so far in this month, December, we are seeing inflation numbers way higher already, right? So inflation over the summer, July, August, and September was much less than what we're currently experiencing right now, like significantly less, right? So that's why we're potentially looking at this potential raise to the COLA going forward in 2022. Now, one quick thing I always have to say, full disclaimer, this has not been approved yet. This is just speculation that I've been seeing out there as a result of the massive inflation number that was released yesterday from the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics. They actually release this number every once a month. It's about in the middle of the month, every single month for the previous month. And these are the inflation numbers based on November of 2021. Well, according to economists, they're actually anticipating that the inflation numbers going forward are going to get even more aggressive, like even higher over the coming months. So December, January, February, we're looking at potentially even higher inflation numbers coming in over these few months here going forward. So this would potentially be a little bit more of a raise. Again, we don't know what it would actually be. As of right now, the COLA for 2022 is 5.9%. Potentially, they're looking at, according to what I've been seeing and the speculations, potentially bumping that up by another percent, 6.8%, or possibly even more. But again, we'll have to see what happens with all of this, but that could potentially result in even more money in your monthly checks going forward. Now, this would probably be just for the extent of 2022, or maybe they implement it for a portion of the year, something like that. Again, we would have to wait for official word out of any lawmakers calling on the Social Security Administration to do this, or any potential announcements out of Social Security. But this is just something I've been coming across through my research and thought, that's kind of interesting, because we saw this exact same thing play out last year when we saw that little teeny tiny 1.3% cost of living adjustment for 2021. So hopefully they would do something like this, but realistically, let's just be real with ourselves. A 1% bump to the COLA would not really result in all that much money. Of course, it all counts right now. $10, $15, whatever it happens to be, would all help out everybody a lot right now, right? Even if it's on a monthly basis, every penny during this time helps. But really what they need to do, as we all know, is implement even better a stimulus check, survival check, whatever you want to call it, a relief check. I mean, they're all essentially the same thing. We've seen it called so many different things over the last year and a half. But either way, a survival check at this time is really what is needed. But ultimately, even ongoing payments, if they were to bring back that $200 per month raise, that would be a really, really good thing. That is what people need in this community. And realistically, a year and a half ago, well, it was a little more than a year and a half ago, back in March of 2020, when they originally introduced that $200 per month raise, at the time it seemed like, wow, $200 extra per month, this would be great. But again, let's be real. What does $200 get you these days? Not much. It doesn't get you very much anymore, especially compared to what it was back in March of 2020. So even looking at $200 a raise per month now would be like, well, it sure would be nice, but you might want to bump that up to about $300 or $400, possibly even $500 just to keep up with everything going on right now. $200 would certainly be nice, but $200 does not get you anywhere near what it did back in March of 2020, right? I think all of us can agree now. Things are ripping higher really fast right now with prices. So anyway, I wanted to bring this back to you. It looks a little bit interesting. Of course, I'll continue watching everything. And of course, as I said before, this has not been approved yet. We have not seen any kind of announcements out of Social Security or even out of lawmakers, but yet this is the speculation that has been going around since yesterday morning when the latest inflation number was released. So kind of interesting. It would certainly help, but it would not be it wouldn't be like the solution to everybody's problems and all the financial issues that everybody is having right now. It would certainly not cure all of that, but it would certainly help, right? It would certainly give everybody a little bit more wiggle room each and every month. Again, not much, maybe $10, $15, maybe $20 at the most, but it would at least be something. We also have to remember one thing as well. Bernie Sanders sent over that letter to the president about a little over a week ago, calling on him to work with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to actually reduce the Medicare Part B premium by about $10, which is being added in as a result of that new Alzheimer's prescription, where all of these beneficiaries, about 60 million beneficiaries and people who have Medicare, are prepaying for this Alzheimer's prescription that may not even be paid for by Medicare Part B quite yet. So again, Bernie Sanders was calling on the president through that letter about a week ago, and also Ron Wyden just came out the other day calling on pretty much the exact same thing. So we have a couple guys here working for us as well. That'd be about $10 extra in the checks. So again, between all of this, it doesn't really add up to much. $10 here, $10 there. But you know what? It all counts. Every single penny counts right now. So anyway, this is what I have for you right now. Again, I wanted to make a dedicated video talking about this because this is pretty interesting, because we're seeing the whole thing play out once again like it's a mirror image of what we saw last year. I've said that so many times throughout the course of this year, 2021. I've been saying it for so long now. This year looks so similar to what we were witnessing play out last year. Same thing coming right down to this as well. So anyway, I hope this helps you out. Again, as I get more information, of course, I'll be right here for you every single day with all the latest updates. In fact, I'm already gathering more information for the next video, which I'll have out here in a few hours. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. And either way, I'll be right here for you with all those updates. So make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video if you haven't done so yet. Feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Again, there's a button right down below the video. You can share it just so that if you know anybody that receives any of these benefits, we can keep them posted with everything going on. So again, thanks for joining me. Subscribe down below and share the video, as well as go back and check out some of the other nearly 2,000 videos right here on the channel. Enjoy your day. Remember, I'm here for you as your one and only daily advocate with all the latest updates and my commitment to you and this community as a whole, which is to help you out in any possible way. Enjoy your day. I'll catch you again later in the next one. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you soon. See ya.